Hey Rebels, it's Charlie, your host of the Salon Rebel podcast. Today I have a guest on that I have known for quite some time in our industry, and now she somehow managed to escape and has been doing other things for quite some time. So I am here with Nicki Milne, who started off with, if you remember, it was called the Perth Collective, and I really feel like it was a massive movement and a shift in what we were doing with content and taking Instagram from being a novelty, fun little thing that we were doing to treating it as a business. And she really was a part of that movement. And I've always really respected what Nicki does. She's always doing the next thing. She never seems afraid to take that next risk. And so here we are today. We have held back on our conversation since she's come into the studio because I just wanted to have this as a nice, natural conversation so we can check in with each other and see how we are going and how our businesses are going. So welcome, Nicki. Thank you for joining me today in our new upgraded studio
Thanks,
that ain't
Charlie.
cheap, but is worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's great to reconnect. And like I said, in person.
Yes.
It's been a long time since we actually saw each other face to face.
Yes. It does feel like we see each other all the time online.
All the time.
So that is probably like a pro and con about social media. You're like, I don't need to catch up with you. I see your face all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sick of seeing your face, actually. No.
Yeah.
You have your own podcast now. Can you actually backtrack and tell me about your earlier days? Because we connected because you are a hairdresser by trade and you had a salon. And can you just give me a little bit of backstory on who you are?
Yeah, of course. So I grew up in a country town and I wasn't specifically very entertained at school. I struggled to pay attention. So at 16, I actually dropped out of high school and took up a hairdressing apprenticeship. Did that, then ended up traveling Australia, working in many incredible locations, being a hairdresser and makeup artist. Worked with a lot of celebrities, fashion shows and things like that. And then at 23, I come back or landed in Perth. And my parents, being very traditional in country, were like, it's about time to grow up, stop traveling. And an opportunity arose through a series of interesting events that a salon come up for sale in Subiaco. Purchased it in partnership with my parents. I was 23. I just got to Perth, hardly knew anyone. And then obviously my parents went home. They were silent investors. They went home to the country town. And I found myself with this salon with $1,000 rent over my head. And the staff that were in the salon, unbeknown to me, had all signed contracts to move to the mine sites to work on mines. And there was no clientele. So I'd paid a lot of money for this salon. No clientele, no staff.
Where was this?
In Subi.
This is, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was 23 and didn't know anyone. And at that point, there was 42 salons in Subiaco.
Wow.
So I had to be different and I'd always had a passion for marketing and business. My parents had a business when I was a child. So I thought, well, it's sink or swim. So I started using, at that time, it was Facebook. And Facebook pages didn't exist. So I created a person that was the salon and started growing the salon through that. And I was also in a suburb with very wealthy people. And everyone was targeting that older generation, whereas I actually thought, well, there's a lot of kids around my age that are still living at home. They're not paying rent and they have a disposable income. So I actually targeted them and the local universities. And over the period of the next 8 years, it grew into a very successful salon. I had 10 staff. And then I had my first child and it doesn't provide a huge amount of flexibility. And I was trying to get off the floor and I have never worked out how to do that. So I ended up selling the salon. And from there, I had clients come to me wanting to assist them in their business marketing, predominantly in social media. And I started doing a little bit of that. And then probably about 7 months after I sold the salon, I just had an idea one day that I would launch a platform on social media to help women in small business basically gain attention and expose them in some sense and their businesses by a social media platform that I built. So it was called the Perth Collective and it rapidly took off. Within, 4 months, it had 20,000 followers and then it had 40,000. It was huge.
Yeah.
And a few weeks after I launched it, I decided to throw a huge event up at the Sea Restaurant in Perth. I remember getting the quote and it was like $15,000, but I'd sold the salon, so I had a little bit of capital. And I thought, well, if I can sell enough tickets, it'll cover that. And it sold out pretty much immediately. And we had 200 women at this beautiful restaurant celebrating business and being female entrepreneurs. And it really was the start of that girl boss movement.
Totally.
And it really hadn't hit Perth, and that just threw it into such a spotlight. From there, I started teaching workshops. I did a print magazine. And then one day I had someone reach out to me, and I went and had a meeting with them, and they were the marketing manager of a global car brand. And they said, look, we'd love you to take on our PR. We're seeing what you're doing and how much impact you've had in 3 months or 3 years in an industry that you have no background in. Would you take on our PR? And I said, absolutely, I'd love to. And I agreed to it. And then I got in the car and Googled what PR was. I had no idea what PR stood
Wow.
for. But I'm such a believer in saying yes. And
Yes.
then working it out later. I was like, well, obviously I'm good at it. I don't know what PR is, but it must be something in the marketing
Yeah.
wheelhouse.
I must be doing it already.
Yeah. So then I did a huge global event for them, and that just started the PR agency. So from that grew a PR and marketing agency, which I still have today.
So for somebody that doesn't know what PR is,
Yes.
what is PR?
Well, it's public relations. And interestingly, I fully credit having a hairdressing salon and being a hairdresser to being so strong in building relationships, because everything we do in the salon, we are building relationships with clients, we're building relationships with staff, we're building a relationship with community. So it actually is quite a natural progression into
sure.
PR.
If you're a decent hairdresser.
Yeah, if you're decent and you care about humans
Yes.
and people and building relationships, then PR actually just comes quite naturally, given that's how we've set our early years.
Yeah.
And so the PR agency is, we specialize in luxury branding. So we work with a lot of global companies, hotels, resorts, VIP events, do lots of fashion, and it's really incredible. I love it. And
What does that look like? Like, if I hired you to do a PR event for me for the salon,
Mhm.
what would you do for a business like mine?
Yeah, I like to do things that are a little bit off the cuff. So I've done long table events in aeroplane hangars and, on foreshores.
So you're basically creating events for the
Virability.
brands to get noticed.
And just to get noticed, for people to have a sense of what that brand stands for, all the people that want to come around it. So obviously we invite influencers or media or notable people.
Yep.
So it's just getting in front, having a really hard-hitting impact in a short period of time through a VIP event.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
And then obviously when COVID hit, all my clients in my PR and marketing agency stopped overnight. They couldn't
Right.
market, or they had the budget stopped, and I lost the whole business pretty much in 2020. It just went on hold, and I wasn't eligible for any grants or anything, and I'd earned my own money since I was 16. It was horrifying.
What did you do?
So then I thought, well, I'm going to go back to my roots and what I'm passionate about. So I started on Instagram. I'm not sure if you remember, I started on a Wednesday night teaching Instagram courses
Yep.
for an hour just live. And in the first few weeks, there was like 500 people joining it, and then it got to 1,000. And then by the 5th or 6th week, there was like
Were you
10,000.
charging for this?
No, it was just free on
Okay.
Instagram
Yeah.
Live. I'd be like 7 p.m. There was people all over the world joining.
I just got drunk on Instagram and literally did hair. Me and some of the girls would like hook up on a live when we had a lockdown, and we would drink wine and show how to do our hair, and then I think one of the girls ended up with like farm animals in her hair,
Oh my
and
God.
just it was really feral, but it was hilarious
And creative.
Yeah, yours is probably a little bit more informative
Yeah.
and educational than mine ended up being.
Well, it was such a perfect time because people couldn't go anywhere. So they were consuming social media like a TV show.
Yeah,
So if you could capture their attention, you were winning. And
for sure.
it absolutely did. And I thought, well, there's a bit more here than just teaching live. So I quickly thought, well, I'm going to create an online course. And again, it was kind of at the frontier of that big movement. Again, it was probably 6 to 12 months before everyone else jumped on the bandwagon.
You're always doing, even like the fact that you started using like a normal profile before
Yes.
Pages was existed.
Yeah.
It's like you're able to see in front what's.
I look at the
Gonna be
trend that's
next.
coming and I'm like, what is the quickest, fastest entry point
How
I
do
can
you
get in?
think you do that? Like, how do you see what's coming?
Well, for
next?
example, I follow majority of people based in America.
Right.
America
same,
is always
yeah.
way ahead of what we're doing. We're probably 2 to 3 years behind. So
Right.
if I see someone that's quite big and notable and similar industry to me and they're pushing out into something, I'm like, right, I've got to be at the forefront of this. I've got to dabble. Sometimes I'll dabble and play with it and go, no, this isn't not for me. Or nowadays I'm very time conscious.
Yep.
So I'm like, how much time am I going to invest for the return? Can I get
Right.
that quicker
Yep.
somewhere else?
Yes.
So everything is very strategic and purpose driven.
Right.
Yeah.
So you started with doing the course.
So I did a course. I
Yep.
put it out. I hadn't recorded a second of it, and I just put it out on pre-sale and took $60,000 in a matter of a week.
Wow.
And I was like, oh,
You're like,
that's
this
good.
is good. Yeah.
I was like, here I was 2
Yeah.
weeks ago, terrified that I had no income. And at that stage, I had 3 children.
Yeah.
I just had my 3rd child. And even though I had children, I've never really taken maternity leave or anything like that.
Mhm.
So I was like, wow. And so I did that. And then that just blew up into basically an online platform teaching female business owners in service-based industries how to market their business and
Yeah.
grow and scale their
Okay.
business.
What do you use for your platform? Do you use Kajabi?
Yeah.
Okay.
I tried the others.
Yeah.
And spent a lot of money on another platform at the start just to get it to market, and it
Mhm.
wasn't the right fit for me. And
Right.
now I'm 100% all in with Kajabi, even with the
Yes.
big
Yes,
price
with the
increase
big
that
price,
was announced
yeah.
last week.
I mean,
That's
in the grand scheme of things, though, like an extra $50
Yeah,
a month,
I don't think
if
it's a
you're
big thing.
using that, if that is your main source of income,
But I
is
also think they handled that absolutely terrible.
to just send us an email
Yeah,
and just go.
so obviously we're talking about Kajabi, who is the biggest probably course platform that most entrepreneurs use. Last week they announced wasn't just a little price rise, it was quite a
Yeah, how much
substantial.
was it?
It depends on when you joined. I
Right.
fortunately joined so long ago that mine's, I think,
Yeah.
$700-800 for a year. And my business
Yep.
obviously can absorb that, but I can understand if you're a small person that's only got 3 or 4 people in your
where
course.
ours is up to $250. Is it $250
a
a
month?
month?
Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
mine's $700 annually, a little crease.
Right.
So it's not that much.
Yes.
But I can
So for
understand
mine, when
that's a
we're
lot.
newer with courses and that, like it is
The
a big
people it
jump.
hit.
Yeah.
Whereas because I joined so long ago, it's grandfathered.
Mhm.
But PR-wise, they announced, and this is a classic example for everyone sort of listening, they went out with all these new features, got everyone riled up and excited about these new features. And then the next day they released this gigantic price rise.
Mm.
And I'm sure you're in the Kajabi Heroes Facebook account. You in that? It's got
I'm-
like 40,000 people in it.
No, I don't look
Oh.
at that at all.
It's phenomenal.
Okay.
You will learn so much. It's
Oh, okay.
incredible. You do have to
Noted.
have a Kajabi
Okay.
account to have. But
It's called
accepted.
Kajabi
Heroes.
Okay.
And then there's one that is for people earning over like $500,000 and then for people earning over $1 million. So they segregate it, which is really helpful.
Okay, awesome.
But oh my God, PR disaster. It was just everyone was complaining about
Yeah.
the price increase. And then obviously they're trying to get people to go into their Kajabi payment system. Most of us use Stripe. I actually do happen to use Kajabi payments because they
Okay.
paid me quite a lot of money to move to
Right,
Kajabi
okay.
because I've got quite a big platform. But
We use Stripe.
yes,
PayPal and
but if you move forward using Stripe, you will be charged quite a high percentage to
Right,
continue
okay.
to use Stripe.
Okay.
So you'll probably have to move to Kajabi
Yeah.
payments. But the other thing, since I moved to Kajabi payments, my sales have gone up because I deal predominantly with women. Most people are signing up to my stuff at 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Mhm.
To get up off the couch and go and get your credit card, probably not
Mhm.
going to happen.
Oh, yeah, it's the worst.
So Kajabi Payments has Apple Pay. So I've noticed a big increase
Right,
in
okay.
enrollments
That's interesting.
that come through at about that 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, simply because it's there on the couch and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
Apple Pay or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
I won't buy anything if I have to find my credit card.
Point
Like
in
I
case.
just
Imagine the sales you're
it's
missing out on.
right. Okay. So I thought with Stripe that like if I buy something with Stripe, I just put in a code and it sends me a code on my phone.
That's because you pre-entered. Yes.
Right,
but
where
then
a lot of
there's
people might
some
not have
things-
that.
Yeah. Some things you purchase, obviously, you do have to still get up and get a
Ah,
credit card.
So they probably have to. I didn't even
And
realize
some
that.
people, use Apple Pay and don't even know where the copy of the actual
Amber,
card is.
move us over today,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah,
That's-
so Kajabi payments is like I've definitely noticed increase in having Kajabi payments. I've had it for about 6 months now. But yeah, they didn't handle that, and I talk a lot when I educate around price increases in business
Mhm.
and how to handle it and how to do it
Yeah.
properly and strategically so that you have a very smooth transition in price increasing. Unfortunately, they didn't follow those rules and they
Yeah.
basically then had to renege on the price rise, come back and alter it. It was an
It's-
absolute mess.
It's
And
funny
it's the third time they've
because
done it.
it's funny because like I think about in a salon perspective and raising prices and how some salons really want to tell the clients that we're going to be raising prices and how many times I've just gone bam and
That's
just
your
done
strategy,
something.
yeah.
And normally I would do a huge price increase and then I would go on a holiday and be like, it wasn't me.
Let your
I
staff
would
deal
leave.
with it. Oh,
Well, because they can just blame me, right?
right.
They can just blame me like I don't set the prices, but I'm there and I set the prices. So I'm just like, I mean, look,
Yes.
a 2-week holiday isn't going to get through every single person. And we've done it that many times now that we do realize that we are going to lose a couple people.
Of course.
But in hindsight, we get the better customers that can afford that. But totally different. Yeah, totally different
And it
industry.
allows
But
space for people to come in that
yeah,
will be happy to pay that
where
price.
it's not like Kajabi is at like capacity.
No.
You know what I
And
mean?
it wasn't a
Yeah.
little price rise. Most people went up by 50%.
Yes.
Which is
A lot.
dramatic.
Especially when you're starting out.
Yeah.
Like right now, even when we're not hammering things and we're not getting a heap of sales through, it is a big expense
Absolutely.
for it. So
and for most of us, like I obviously have an agency, and this I always say is my second business. You're the same.
yeah.
You have a salon. The Kajabi
Yes.
component or the education or teaching is a secondary. And I'm
Yes.
very mindful of that my investment in my secondary business is never going to be what my first one is at the moment, because still, to be totally transparent, 80% of my income comes from the agency.
Right.
So I'm very aware, whereas I see people go all in with their second business because they're passionate about it. Like you and I have been doing our first businesses for a long time. We get bored.
Yep.
It's not challenging anymore.
Yep.
Hence why a lot of people do start these second online course businesses or coaching or education. But you've got to be smart about your investment, because
Yeah.
the return is generally not as great,
Yes.
and it's a much more competitive industry.
And it's an industry that we don't know very well. So we don't have years of experience like running a salon. So anytime that I end up going all in for a while, like it's like realistically, I know that if I was working that hard on my first business, I would 10x that
Yeah.
what I'm getting out of
Absolutely.
the new venture that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right. So although it's like, yeah, it is like that side hustle, a bit of fun, trying out different things. But I think what keeps me like engaged with it is knowing that the potential is there to scale it so much easier than scaling for salons, a service-based business. Because even though if I had the customers there, I need the team to be able to deliver. I need the space. Whereas like if you can get to a point, I think that is what keeps me excited about that, is knowing that the potential, if you were to figure it out and get it nailed and dialed in and be able to really get more sales that way, that would be so much easier to scale.
I think from what I've seen, and like I said, I've been doing it 5 years now, it's really that 1% we see in that box. And
Yeah.
they're 100% all in and only in on online. They are not generally juggling a secondary business that's as demanding as, say, a hair salon or an agency.
Yes, yes. But I do also feel like I fit into the 1% of salons that have been as successful as mine and been able to get off the floor. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, if I can do it here, I can do it again. But it definitely is like, I feel like now with the online thing, it's like we're so overwhelmed by like the content on it. Like right now I've got that Opal app on my phone to get me off of like just scrolling, because anytime I go to check a message, then I scroll. Now I've wasted 10 minutes where I could have been doing something else.
See, I'm insanely disciplined because I manage 13 other accounts.
Yeah.
So
what is your, how do you?
So it's a business to me. I'm
Okay.
not on there for fun.
So, but you do see other people's content.
Yeah, I don't spend I absolutely do see other people's
Yeah.
content, but I don't spend a lot of time on it looking at other people's content.
Right.
To me, that's actually becomes detrimental to my mind space.
Yeah.
I find that then if I look too much at other people's, I'm like, oh my God, I've become them, not me.
Yeah, that's where I just think that mine's more of a numbing thing, where it's like I open a message and then without even thinking about it, I just go and start scrolling, and then I'm like, fuck, what was I supposed to be doing?
You do like to chat.
Yes, I do like to
See,
chat.
I don't chat.
Too.
You're like
Okay.
you, and there's one other girl in Perth that I chat to. That's it. I
Oh,
do
wow,
not
I
chat
feel
to
special.
anyone else. Yeah, I don't chat at
Okay.
all. I just don't have the capacity.
Yeah, okay.
And if people want to chat, I'm like, right, this is how to book my consulting.
Mm-hmm.
This is my course coming up. Or if you're an agency client, let's book a discovery call. I'm
Right.
such a strong funnel. I'm
Yeah.
not there to
Yeah.
chat.
I definitely
It's
think
a
I need to
lever.
get better at that. I'm not inundated with like too many messages
Yeah.
a day, really. But I do think sometimes I think if I keep pushing this content out and doing what we're planning on doing and I get more of that, that I need to like cut it off somewhere to being friendly and then going, okay, if you want to chat more,
Yeah,
I need to get
boundaries.
paid for it
Yeah.
because I just don't have like you said, I don't have the time available to be able to do that with everybody.
And when you get bigger, and I had to, because I mean, obviously I've got 55,000 on that particular account we're talking
Mhm.
about. The more bigger you get, the more people that start coming into your
Yeah.
DM. And now I would say 99% of my content is ManyChats
Mhm.
automated. So I actually don't go into my DMs very often.
Yeah.
It's very, like, I will see your name pop up or Carmen's or someone that I have a relationship off screen
Yeah.
with, and then absolutely I will chat to them. But beyond that, anyone else, it's very
Yeah.
rare I get any inquiries
Oh, that's good.
because ManyChats handles, I've set up the automation, so I
Right.
don't need to talk to people.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like talking to people, sounds funny, but I'm so drowned in, I have 4 children,
Yeah.
agency, 10, 12 clients, and then I have this personal brand. I'm like, that is my scope. That
Yeah.
is my boundary.
Yeah.
And if you don't fit in there,
Yeah. I
I
get
cut
that.
people off pretty quick.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that. I mean, I don't do that, but I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just like, that's my
I
time.
need to do a
And
little more of that.
yeah.
I mean, I like talking so much. This is why I have this fucking podcast.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
I'm literally paying to come sit
And
and talk
chat.
to people.
Out of those
Yeah.
DMs.
So tell me, I'll tell you a little bit about like what we're doing with our podcast,
Mm.
and then I'd love to hear about yours and where you're at because
Yep.
you just mentioned that you've recently
Absolutely.
stopped. So we were doing it in our warehouse before. I did some random ones like at home and blah blah. But I found it really hard to get like I couldn't get the content that I wanted from it because we were recording it, but video wise, it wasn't good enough. You know, we're setting up like 3 phones and like camera wise, like I've got like all the gear and no idea. Like
Yeah.
I'm one of those. And I just never invested in really learning it. Like the amount of times somebody's tried to show me how to use a camera and I still just don't know what the fucking f-stop
No.
thing,
Me
the
either.
shutter speed, any of that. I'm just like, just stop telling me. Like it's just not sticking. I obviously don't like it enough or something. Like, you know,
Absolutely.
so it
Yeah.
doesn't stick.
It's not interesting enough.
And when we go and record, then I want to go and cut up clips and the quality is just not good enough. Like if I'm going to make a podcast and then put reels on there, like the competition, the quality is so good that I would just feel like insecure about what I would be putting out there because it just didn't look good enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
So also, I think sometimes it's hard to like keep motivated with speaking, like especially when you're doing solo ones. You know, you feel like you've done the topics before. What am I going to talk about next? And I think I got a little bit stuck with like, where am I going with this podcast? It's called the Salon Rebel. You know, I should be interviewing salon owners. And I think I just got a little bit bored of salon owner chat because I'm a lot more interested in other stuff. Like I've done all the salon owner stuff. Like me and you could sit here and talk about how we both had somebody steal from us and had to go to Fair Work or whatever.
Yes.
But like that
Being
conversation,
sued, all the rest of it.
I've
Yes.
already had the life sucked out of me from that. I don't need to go over it again with somebody else, you know?
Absolutely.
And even though it can be like, you know, relatable, I'm like, you know what? I just like doing podcasts because I like chatting and catching up with people and having conversation and learning about what they're doing because I'm interested in business
Yeah, you got
and
a curious
marketing.
mind.
Yeah, and I just want to, you know, have more honest conversations. And so we're kind of have taken a little bit of a turn to go, you know what? I'm not going to have like a structure or a plan. I'm not going to have Nicki on because I want to ask her X, X, and X. I just want to know, what is Nicki doing? What is she up to? I haven't caught up. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like,
It's in conversation.
it's an expensive date on my behalf, you know?
We could have
I'm
gone to
like,
Crown, Charlie.
yeah, but really. But I think I am just kind of testing out different kind of content. And I think because I'm building my own personal brand, I really want my personal brand to be something that I like doing. I don't want to be doing stuff that I don't love. I don't want to be, not that I don't like talking to salon owners and that. I'm just like, I want to have conversations that I like having, and I want to build my personal brand about what I like doing. Like right now we're taking a turn into talking right after this. I'm recording my first webinar called it's called Service Like You Mean It. It's basically a sales course for hairdressers. So all about like your limiting beliefs to solution-based like upselling, so like a solution-based framework and stepping in your alter ego to create like a better
Yeah.
experience for your client and having a higher average spend, blah, blah, blah. So I'm doing that here after. And I'm just kind of like going a little bit all over the place in testing out different things and what I like to do. And so I feel like the Salon Rebel podcast is just kind of now I'm just kind of experimenting
Yes.
with it and not having anything too structured or serious. Like last week we had Luca stepped on to I was like, just step into my solo. I don't feel like doing a solo right now. You sit here and let's just
Let's
chat.
chat.
And it was a good time,
Yeah.
So I just think sometimes as business owners, we do so much stuff that we don't really like to do and we don't want to do. And now I'm not doing hair as much, which is the fun, creative part.
Yeah.
And then you do all the businessy stuff that sometimes isn't so fun. I'm like, this is my fun thing. This episode is sponsored by the BizTool Boutique because running a salon is hard enough. Your salon should give you freedom, profit, and a team that make you proud to be a salon owner. That's exactly why I created the BizTool Boutique. Simple, done-for-you systems you can download and implement straight away. Not another long-winded course that you'll never finish. Just the exact tools I use today in my own highly profitable salon. From pricing and profit share frameworks that lock in growth to team management tools that give you back your time and retail mindsets that finally stick, every program is designed to fit into your busy life and actually work. Because let's be real, salon owners don't need more on their to-do list. What you need are fast, proven systems that free you up, better cash flow, and more consistency. So you and your team can finally enjoy the business that you've all worked so hard for. Head to the link in the show notes to check out the tools that we've built just for salon owners.
So I think this is a really interesting conversation because everything I do in business, obviously, I'm very private with my private life.
Yeah.
I don't share my children. I don't share my personal life at all on social media and never have. It's just never something that's sat well for me. So therefore, in business, everything I do needs to have a strategic outcome and return on investment. And that's just the way my mind works.
Just nothing just for fun.
No.
Yeah. Which is normal.
I'm so calculated in my time. I'm like, and I mean, obviously you've been on my stages. I've interviewed you and that's why I'm here today because you at many points have said, Nicki, I'm going to give you my time.
Yeah.
Without charge, I'm going to come along and I'm going to be on your stage.
I love being on your stage. I love being on stage.
And I'm so grateful for that. But, and that's why I'm here because I was like, at those times when I wasn't influential and didn't have a big audience, Charlie was one of the first people to put up and said, yeah, absolutely. You've been on my podcast. So my time investment here is that I'm hopefully giving back in the same exchange that we had. So it's very neutral, which is an amazing position to be in. But then when we're looking at podcasting, so I've done 5 seasons, over 50 episodes. Do you know how many episodes you're up to?
I think 25 or 26 or so.
Yeah. So, and it's so draining and it's so time consuming. People think it's just having a chat.
Yeah.
But this is only the easy part of it, to be honest. Then there's the editing, the filming, the cutting up of the shorts. Then there's the marketing of it.
That's why I'm here.
So one episode. Yeah. It's not just this.
Yeah.
This is the tiniest part of it and the easiest part because we're just having a conversation. The reality is the work begins the minute this finishes.
Right.
And that's where all the editing.
But not if you hire somebody to do it all for you.
Not if you hire it, but then are they going to market it for you? Because marketing is insanely hard.
So I haven't really thought too much about the marketing side of it. We'll just basically be getting our reels and like our shorts done from it. And I'll be putting that on socials. We'll upload our session. I mean, I don't know in terms of marketing, what else you would do. We will then upload our episodes onto YouTube.
Yeah.
We haven't done that yet because I feel like I didn't like the quality beforehand, whereas now the quality is better, which I'd be happy to put up on YouTube. So we'll do that. And then we just put it on, Spotify and Apple.
So I guess how I look at it is, okay, I'm going to do that one podcast episode. Number one, how much content work, and this is
Yeah.
from a marketing and PR background, how much
Yeah.
content can I create out of that one episode? How many places can I distribute it to?
Yeah.
But what is my monetary return on investment? So some people don't do it for monetary, which sounds more like weak.
I guess for me, it's like I can take one episode and I feel like the way content is moving is like the more natural, the better in terms of like having conversations. I want people to get to know me.
But this is not natural.
No,
Like
no,
having a
but the
conversation about that.
conversation is natural.
Yes,
Like I'm not
yes.
staging the script. I'm not sitting here going like, which I've done heaps of that where I'm like,
Yeah.
I know what I'm saying in front of a camera. I have no
And I
idea.
didn't get the heads up to
I have
questions.
no idea
Yeah.
what's going to come out of my mouth in the next 10 minutes. You know?
That's
like
standard, Charlie.
ever. Usually it's an F word, but I'm trying to cut that down.
I've noticed that.
Yeah.
You're doing a very good job.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, I know you're not a big fan of swearing, but
Not on for my brand,
yes.
but in my home life, yeah, you would have a totally different person. But again, I have 4 children, so
Yeah, I try not to say the F-bomb in front of my kids, except the other day, and I don't think, what did my daughter say? She said the F word in like the worst way,
context.
like it was like spot on, but it was just like, he's a fuckwit or something like, I don't know what it was. It was something like that. And we were like, where did she even hear that?
Yeah.
Because I don't say that in front.
that
And then
context, yeah.
and then Arnie heard me on the phone and I had said it on the phone to someone. He's
Oh.
like, it was from you. Like I was like,
They're like little
ah.
sponges.
I think it's always like when I'm on the phone that I'm
Yeah.
not as aware. But okay, so taking that content and having people, I guess see who I am as a person a little bit more so that when they want to work with me and working with me, I'm just trying to gauge. I've been trying so hard to hold off on like doing coaching with people because of the time. Like for me to give an hour of my time, even like no matter how much price we put on it, to like do an hour conversation with somebody on the phone, I just can't seem to put a price on it that I would be happy to do like coaching calls with
Interesting.
Salons.
Okay.
Like I find
Let's unpack that more.
yeah, I find that is a really hard hard for me to. I think it's the commitment as
See,
well.
I absolutely love coaching and mentoring. I would
So-
do that all day if I
So
could.
I seem to like to do it for free.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah.
You're
So
kind of doing it now for free.
right. So it's like I would do it for free.
Why
But-
don't you charge? So say $700 an hour for coaching, which is
Yes.
but you would be at that level. That's
Yeah.
kind of where you would be positioned in the market
Yeah,
as a
okay.
mentor or coach, I would
Okay.
say. Between $550 and $700. Hairdressing tends to be a little bit lower, as in coaching and mentoring than, say,
Yeah.
a business mentor. But, you get 10 clients a month paying
Yeah.
you $700.
Right. Which would be
For
amazing.
1 hour.
I
so
think
7
that's
hours.
probably that I need to have that little bit of a high, like before, to be honest, I was thinking like, what do you charge? Like $350, $400?
No.
And I was like, that to me wouldn't be worth it because I could make more in the salon and I'm giving so much more value than what you know.
Oh,
in that.
and I don't tend to do one-off. I do your 12-month coaching package with me,
Yeah.
and I'm between $700 and $1,000 an hour, just depending on the complexities of what we're diving into.
Yep.
And like, so Tuesdays is when I mentor. So yesterday I had 3 mentoring
Right.
every hour.
Do
for
you
3 hours.
structure those calls?
Absolutely not. I'm a
Okay.
mentor, not a business coach. And this
Right.
is where people get very confused. A business coach has a very structured center, like,
See, I
plan.
would, and I wouldn't
We're
like
social
that.
media next week.
Yeah.
Then the month later we're doing marketing. Then the month later we're doing
Yeah,
sales.
okay.
I hate that. I'm like, okay, what's the problems that have arisen in your business in the last
Yeah, okay.
30 days since we spoke? Where are we going? What are we doing? What marketing have you got coming up? What program? What are we selling? What have you got in place? And where are we at? Looking at your statistics in your marketing and PR and
Right.
your upsells. If I was working with a hairdresser, or what are your goals? How are we going to get there? So every single person is different. We literally get on and they just talk. We problem solve out things. There is no structure
Yeah.
at all.
Okay.
But
Because
a
that's what
mentor.
that's what I would prefer.
Hairdressers are
whereas-
much better at mentors
Yes.
because we just talk.
Yeah.
We're not good
For
at
sure.
structure
For sure.
and following a uniform
So
plan.
I guess like this is where we go back to like the podcast and the content is I want somebody to kind of know who they're talking with before they decide that they want to work with me.
Yeah.
And by having these other programs that I have that I can actually scale them a little easier. So the one that we're designing right now is a sales program that you can train your team with. that I do a little bit of like some stuff with the salon owner first. Then they do a team training. There's some worksheets and things like that, so they can literally implement it in a team meeting and hopefully get a ROI like straight away.
Yeah.
And then also have an element of either there's a 6-week challenge on the back of that for their team to do, and they can either upgrade and do like a WhatsApp support at the same time, so they can do voice chats throughout, or they can do like 2 coaching calls, which we can go through like their incentives, what they're doing for their team. I can give them the hard truth on whether what they're doing I believe is going to work, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And then give them that kind of test the waters there with somebody that's already interested.
Coaching or mentoring.
Sorry?
That is coaching and mentoring.
Yes, I know. I
just don't like the word, which
do you know what? I don't like the idea of something being in my schedule.
Yeah. So I mean, when I'm saying let's unpack this before, because I was like, I think you're indirectly doing the mentoring coaching anyway. It's just labeling it and making it an hour appointment that we can book with you is the problem for you.
So that's my problem,
right?
it
is the commitment to that hour.
I think it's you
like
your
years, freedom.
Yeah. And I think it's years of trauma of having like trauma of like calendar trauma of appointments as like a hairdresser. Like
I'm so traumatized from phones. You cannot ring me. I do not give my number to anyone. Even my clients in my PR agency, which pay a fortune, they have to email me.
Yeah, I love that.
And I am so traumatized from 15 years of hairdressing with phones ringing all day.
Do you know what's so funny? When the first time we met in person, I don't know why we met up in person. I think we just met up for a coffee or something, and my phone was on beside us, and you're like, what is your phone doing? Like, why is it like going off so much? I was like, oh, it's the Salon phone. And you're like, absolutely not. You need to stop that like immediately. And I was like, okay, lady.
Where do I put it?
I literally changed it like that day or the next day. I just needed somebody to tell me to stop carrying around the fucking work phone.
Yeah. And I did exactly. I've just done a Bali retreat, and one of the girls in there, the same thing. And I was like, why are you looking? And she's like, this is the beauty salon phone. I'm like, absolutely not. Like, what the hell? You've paid to be in here Bali with me. And I was like, right. So she literally walked out of the room, rang her staff and said, we're going completely online. Take the phones off, remove it off the website, remove it off all our socials, get rid of the phone number. And then by day 4 with me, she was like, oh my friggin' God, changed her life.
Yeah.
Like, and that's so small.
Oh,
but you are
huge,
interrupted 100 times
deal.
a day when that phone, and it's human nature to look at it. So for me, I don't have notifications on my phone.
Yeah.
So I do not get Instagram notifications. I do not get any kind of form of notification at all, even school.
Mm-hmm.
I turn all the WhatsApp off. I don't want to know about it unless I choose to look at it.
Right.
So yes, I am a little hard to contact.
Yeah.
But if you need to find me, the people that need to find me.
I do still feel like if I message you, like you still get back in a certain
so I will
time
check
frame.
in maybe once or twice a day on my account.
Yeah.
With my agency clients that I manage their social media, once a day I check in.
Yeah.
And I will check in for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, check their messages, check the engagement, and then I'm off.
Yeah.
And that's it. The phone goes down.
Yeah.
It's about being disciplined.
Yeah.
And finding a better system. There is no way in this day and age you need to be using phone calls.
Right. I love that, because I feel like that's why we've like one of the reasons that we've probably clicked is you'll tell me something like that. I was like, yep, okay, doing it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I do respect your opinion and your advice on that. And I remember when we went back to work, not only did I change the phone number, I told people not to answer the phone anymore because we didn't have a receptionist and I wasn't going to pay for one and I was like, all these people can book online. They can all book online, pay a deposit.
Send you a message
don't need
on Instagram if they have to about the question.
Yes. And it worked so well. And then it got everybody used to just booking online. And most of even now, I think it's about 60% of our clients who book online are after hours.
Yep.
But it's majority of our clients do book online unless we do want them rebooking. But that's where I kind of gauge, even with our team, we have with our incentives, they don't get commission on the deposit if they booked online.
Yep.
And I tell the team, if I have to go and fish back for your clients and you haven't done your job in order to rebook your clients, then I'm not giving you commission on the deposit because it costs me money in marketing to get those new clients through the door for you. So I found that that's been really helpful because they literally lose money out on their commission if they are not rebooking their clients.
Yes, they own that. They own the
Yes, yeah,
responsibility.
and I'm doing the work, like,
Yeah.
I'm doing the marketing, I'm going to get those new clients, so if and I tell them, I'm like, "It's basically you versus me. If I get that money in for a deposit, that's my money." Well, it's actually the ATO's, it's like goes
Yeah.
into the ATO
Let's be
fund,
honest.
but it makes me feel better
Yeah.
about not so it's like I still want some of those deposits, but it gives them really that incentive to rebook those clients.
And I think in this day and age, we are way too available.
Yeah, for sure.
And that goes for every business owner because people can call you. Majority of people still use their phone. They can email you. They can DM you on
Mhm.
Instagram. They can message you on Facebook. Then there's WhatsApp. And I'm like, absolutely not. To restore peace and keep
Yeah.
our peace and keep our sanity,
Yeah.
the only way generally people can contact me is obviously send me an Instagram message. Maybe you'll get a mini chat back. But if I flag you, I will speak back. But otherwise, email.
Yeah.
I definitely do email deliberately because obviously being a PR and marketing agency, we're playing with big money. So everything has
You
a
want it
paper trail.
written, yeah.
I may need that one
Yes,
day, and
for
I
sure.
have done in the past. Not so easy with hairdressers, but then at the same time, if someone comes in wanting a quote for a color and cut, I'd rather have that in my email documented than say on a phone call going, I've got blonde hair. Whereas you and I might go, that's not blonde.
Do you know what's been the best is how people have been recording their recording their consultations?
Mm.
So I've literally had a video set up recording a consultation, and then when the client complains later, I can go, "Actually, if you can see the consultation here and you'll see that you wanted your hair lighter, blah blah blah." It's so good
You agree
because
to it. Yeah.
you literally told me to do that. And I'm like, "Now do you still think that
Yeah.
we did something wrong?" I've only done that once, and it was just like it was the best, and it was a good client, but I was like, this would actually be really good to record every single consult.
Well, the stakes are higher from when I owned a salon. Like we look at today and TikTok, it's viral there about people complaining about their hair. It's horrific.
Terrible.
And
Yeah.
that would definitely stop me going back into the industry because people just, instead of coming and saying, hey, Charlie, I didn't love my hair. Can we do something about it? And you're like, absolutely, easy fix. We'll adjust it here. They don't even give you that opportunity as a general public. And this is not everyone, but a certain percentage of people. Then they get on TikTok and make this huge hoo-ha about it.
Yeah.
And sure, some are founded and grounded in their complaint. Majority of them
Some of them
are
ridiculous, though.
It is, and it's done for clicks and likes and virality.
Yeah.
And that's a really hard game for a business owner to play.
That's where I've really struggled with going on
Yes.
TikTok because I just feel like we don't need it. And so we've
Well,
been
I
avoiding
question
it.
if it transfers to sales. And I guess that's going back to that podcast conversation. I've done 5 seasons. And look, I've got a big platform. I'm known. I average 100 to 200 people listening per podcast episode in full transparency. Even when I get some really big influencers on with 500,000 followers, it will still only go up to 200. I put a reel out on Instagram, it goes to thousands.
Yeah.
Within minutes.
Yeah.
That is what it has transpired into is a lot more mentoring clients. So when you're saying people listening to your voice, your advice, and building trust with you, for me, that is a direct correlation of having a podcast. People listen to me on my podcast and then go, I want to sign up to mentoring with Nicki.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I didn't see the transfer in sales. So as it is today, I've actually stopped recording the podcast right now and just give it a break. But I also do it in seasons.
Sorry, so why have you stopped recording the podcast?
Because I look at the hour I have to spend recording it, editing it. So say it's a 4-hour process, then producing it. And then the investment of I've had producers, I've had editors, I've done that whole thing. I've then gone, well, say that's a $700 investment. I certainly don't see that in return.
Right.
Whereas if I put it out on Instagram, I will see that in return. Or if I host a masterclass in person, the money just rolls in.
Right.
So I look at it as, again, from a marketing mindset of the 7 things I'm doing to market my business, which one is really time heady and which one is returning me the best investment.
Yeah.
So I'm very strategic. If it's not returning investment, and I sure as hell have given it a go. I've done 5 seasons, 50 plus episodes, and I do love it. I love doing podcasts, but I've got
Did you ever, because I never saw you take the content from your podcast and put it on socials much.
Yes, because it performed so terribly, even when I was doing it properly. It the views tanked. It was too curated.
Right. Okay.
So I've gone this way as well. And just on my platform for my audience, they don't respond to it. And even when I've been on other podcasts, recording, the views tank on it.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. So I test everything.
Maybe you were just too boring.
Yeah, maybe. They just didn't like long form content. I don't know. It was a really interesting thing. And maybe times have changed.
Like, were you doing shorts where you would do it like, I mean, like you look at like Stephen Bartlett.
Yeah, no, I didn't do it to that level, of course.
I mean,
That's
I
phenomenal.
it is, but it's also, like, so fear-mongering that, like, his content now, like, pisses me off because it's like,
It's
you're just
controversial.
you're just putting anxiety in us about, like, I feel anxious if I don't listen to the podcast where I'm like, he's doing a really good job on getting us to do that, to like, they're getting us yeah, to watch all the podcasts and listen to them, but at the same time, I'm like, "You've got us afraid of everything
Yeah.
now,"
Well, it's
and
clickbait.
I don't really like that, and now I've gone off of them because it makes me feel icky,
And
you
that's what
know?
happens. People get tired of people. Like,
Yes.
I look at people that I followed for 2 years and was a disciple of them. Every piece of content I'd consume, every course they put out, I consume. And then they'll do something like at the moment, a lot of coaches are going woo-woo. They've
Right.
gone really into energetics and all
Yes.
that. And
Oh,
that doesn't
yeah.
align with me. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm very straight shooter.
No, I know, I'm not
And so
woo-woo
that puts me
either.
off them. So I've stopped buying
Yes.
from them. And so then I found someone else that I might be more in line with
Yeah.
right now. And that's just a cycle of business
Yes.
and life.
Yeah.
But in terms of curated content, yes, there's absolutely that set of people that are producing beautiful curated content.
Mhm.
But I would be interested from a background into it, how much financially that transfers into sales for
Yeah.
them.
Well, I'll be able to tell you
Yes, I look forward
soon.
and I
Yeah.
hope to be proved wrong.
And this is the thing is, like, I'm just always interested in or I'm happy to just try something for a while, and if it
Mm.
doesn't work and if in 6 months' time, this isn't transferring into sales, and as much as I wanna say this is, like, a creative outlet for me, I'm not gonna be pumping
No,
this much money
you're a
into it if I'm
businesswoman.
not going to get anything
Yeah.
back, you know? But I'm more just going, I wanna see where this takes me and what sort of opportunities this takes me to. Can I get better at public speaking? Can I get, some more opportunities that way where I can be guests on
It's
things and,
credible. Yeah, absolutely.
and use it as a resource that way and just see where that sort of goes. But if I was pumping money into it that much and I wasn't getting anything out of it
Yeah.
at some point, I'd be like, I could be putting that on my mortgage,
Yes, and that's why
you
I do
know?
seasons. So I will
Yeah.
do a season, then I'll have a break for 6 months and
Right.
go, "Oh, no, that's season return." But I guarantee you there will be a 6th season because I go
Yes.
back and I love it. I love having conversations and I
Yeah.
love recording it. So that's allowed me that I do know that I'll put 10 weeks into doing a podcast every week for 10 weeks. And I probably won't see the monetary return in it, but I do it because I love it and I love having a voice and I do
Mhm.
it for authority because now when I'm approached to do paid speaking opportunities, I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
I have a podcast.
And you never know, like, who's listened to your previous podcast to, like, then who's follows you later and then might not become a client of yours for a year or
Yeah.
2, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's, I do
long
think it
form.
definitely just builds that brand
Oh, it
and
does, and
authority.
credibility.
Yeah.
It's a big thing to have in
Yeah.
a podcast, as we both know.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. So tell me, where would somebody be able to find like you now and what are you so you've done the courses, you still do courses. I know that you are hosting one in Bustleton, which
Yes.
I really want to go to, but it's like the one day my daughters have it is like being put under to have
Oh.
because she's only 6, it's like
Yeah,
she has to
fair
get a tooth out, and so she can hardly lay there for them to count her teeth, let
Yeah,
alone, like, get
have it.
anything done. And so she's having some work done that day, and I've just already put in a request to move it so I can come. And I know that you are all into the AI at the
Yes.
moment,
Yeah, it's a whole nother
building your own
conversation.
yes, and love that. Just I love that you're always a step ahead. Where can somebody find you, and what are you doing right now to wrap us up? So
Yes, sure, of course. So I do have the Bustleton Masterclass, and then I have a 2-day intensive coming up in Perth before the end of the year where it's just 10 business owners for 2 days with me in Perth.
what do they do?
So we go through a complete marketing and PR strategy. So moving into 2026, you
Okay.
have that for yourself. I will probably run that again in February. I will put my Bali business retreat on the market soon. That is
Oh.
very popular. That's 4 days in Bali with me
When's
at a
that?
luxury. It'll be August next year.
Okay.
But I'm actually negotiating a lot of paid speaking opportunities next year. So I will
Awesome.
go and speak across the country and in other countries at this stage if it all comes off. So,
Yep.
so that's probably where I'm at. I'm enjoying getting out there more. My kids are
Mhm.
getting a bit older, so I have the luxury to travel more.
Are they all in school now?
No, I've still got a 2.5-year-old.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but I
Older.
am, yeah.
They're so old.
11 to 2.5. But I'm enjoying more coming. I think we're going to see a swing back to in person.
Yeah.
And
I
you've
reckon.
probably noticed, I've just started going back big time into in-person education.
Yeah.
Whereas I certainly have pulled away from it for the next 4
This-
years. But I think 2026 will be the year.
This is where, like, even with this course that we're doing, and opening up
online?
it's
Yeah.
online, but there will be availability for us to go into salons. Like we just did one down south to test run it, where we did the sales, basically the service sales training. And then the next day we spent the day in the salon and helped them with all their consults and actually like generated so much more revenue for them that day. Like we did, upsold a client with fine hair to having extensions who was only in for a T-section of color and really
Yeah.
showing people what's possible. But
Yeah. You couldn't have
think,
done that online. You had to have been
oh,
standing there consulting that
exactly.
client.
And that's where now I'm like, what do you charge for that? Because
Yeah.
that is,
So it's more a
years of
shadowing program.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that I find now people are so overwhelmed with coaches and
Oh,
advice that
exactly.
coming one-to-one with them or small group, so 10 people in a salon or
Yeah.
like me, 10 people in my office doing a 2-day intensive, that is getting a much better result for people. And you and I are both about results. So instead of, yes, there's still the online courses, but I feel like for me, I'm now investing in being one-to-one or one in a small group setting with that person that I want to learn from.
Yeah, that
And I
makes
think
sense.
we're going to see an
I think,
application of that.
yeah, I totally agree. Like we're trying to get off of our screens. I don't want to do another online program.
No, too much noise.
This is where like the one that we're doing now is a program that it's literally an hour long. You do it as your team meeting and you put it in your team meeting. And then there's elements of it where you're getting your team to do things like physically. So you're not just all sitting there watching like a screen. It's a little bit more interactive than that because I can't scale that otherwise, but we will also do that in person.
Yeah.
So whether or not they want to do an in-person one or purchase it online. So there's that element of it. But yeah, like I want to do things in person. I want to go to a workshop in person. I don't want to do your online workshop. I want to sit there.
In person. This wasn't on Zoom.
Right.
So, this is a classic example of how it's swinging.
Yeah.
Right
which
now.
I think we're just getting a little bit over it.
So the people that are smart enough to start moving in 2026 into going to the people will be the ones that dominate 2027 is my prediction. So next year is all about going to the people.
All right. Well, I'll hold you to that.
Hopefully see you on the road, touring, doing your
I just delete my Kajabi.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, Nikki told me.
No, I think that's a backup, but I think we will deliver courses, we will deliver education, and then as a support, there will be an online membership or an online course that backs up.
Yes.
But first and foremost, it must be delivered in person so the person has such pure clarity around what you're educating about.
Yes.
And then there's a 12-month support package where they can jump into the online service or have mentoring and consulting with us.
That sounds good. It's kind of like what we're doing now to have that. I just think of people that can't make an online or can't make an in-person training. Same thing happened when we went down south where they go, oh, well, they didn't make it to that. Can you send us the video of you doing it? And there'll be something where you go, yep, you can just do this.
Or a new staff member. Say that someone employs a new staff member, but
Yeah.
they don't understand that method. They then go and say, sit out the back
Exactly.
for an hour, watch that video. But then our team can implement it because we've actually had Charlie come down and work with us in person.
Yeah, and more training tools that aren't, it's like people teaching like hair education online. Like
Or business coaches that have never had a
yeah.
business.
Oh, yeah. I think we're just a bit over it.
Yeah.
And you can just see through it too much because it's two-stage where it's like.
We're seeing a big drop-off in business coaches and that now 3 years on, their substance hasn't sustained.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of exposed. It really, in some ways, it's becoming a much better playing field because the leaders are certainly leading and shining. And the ones that were like, I want to be a business coach, but I've never owned a business, they're seeming to disappear a little bit faster now, which is a good thing.
Yeah, that is a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I really
Always interesting to
appreciate
chat.
it. I know we could talk for hours.
We could.
And hours. Now I'm going to record this webinar and hopefully do it in one go.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much, Nikki. We will put in the show notes where to find Nikki and if you would like to get into contact with her and her ManyChat. I'm sure.
Send me an email. I read every email.
Yes,
My messages do get a bit lost.
Send an email, not a DM, and we will put all the links in that below for you.
Thanks for having me, Charlie. It's always great to chat.